What up, guys? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you on Sunday afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well today. Listen, if you're new around here, give some consideration to staying true around here. Subscribe to this channel and click the like button if you enjoy the content on this video. So, I just wanted to look at the 2024 Gamecocks schedule a little bit today, talk some Shane Beamer, talk his future, talk the future of the program. Look, we are not that far off from the 2024 college football season. We're sitting here, you might as well call this late March. Mizzou has already concluded their spring practice. They had their spring game yesterday. There's like a 2-month window where teams can fit their practice in and their game, and you can either do it earlier or you can do it later. It kind of surprised me that Mizzou was doing it earlier than everybody else because they're like in the coldest climate in the SEC. Makes it a little bit odd. But South Carolina will be getting that started up here soon, and the spring game will be in April, towards the middle of it, I believe. What are you guys looking for from the Gamecocks this year? What's your best case, worst case scenario for the Gamecocks in 2024? And what do you think the future is for Shane Beamer in Columbia? I've already went on record saying it, and I don't think it needs to be beat up a whole lot more. I don't think he's the answer long term. In fact, I'm sure he's not the answer long term. He does not have the experience. He doesn't have the demeanor, and he doesn't have the pull to lead a big-time college football program or turn a program into a big-time college football program. I think that can be kind of surmised by just looking at some of the coaching hires and how they just seemingly walk away from the program with out of damn care in the world and go to someone else's program. It speaks volume to me about the level of respect that he gets from other coaches out there in the college football world. And it just doesn't look like there's a whole lot there. And that's unfortunate. Look, and people would think that, well, you just hate him. You're just a hater. No, I don't want to see the man fail. And I would love to be sitting here in 3 years or something after he's won a conference championship, eating the biggest plate of crow that you've ever seen. I would gladly eat it, beak and all. And I've told people that before. But I'm just coming at this from a realistic point of view. I don't think he's the answer. He's not going to be the answer. Hopefully this team can win in spite of him, not because of him. Just from the outlandish outbursts at the press conferences, the just cringy, strange stuff that you see, it's just not becoming. And this schedule is the toughest that he has faced as a Gamecock coach. Gone is Georgia off the schedule, right? Gone is Tennessee, but you've got a couple of new opponents on here that you're not used to seeing, you don't have a lot of familiarity with, and quite frankly are better than you. There's several of them on here. They were talking on Twitter the other day, and someone tagged me in it saying that Spencer Rattler was wasted during his 2 years at South Carolina. I'm not necessarily sure he was wasted. He had a 13-12 record as a starter. That's just barely over 500, which is what the program has been for its entire existence. Just barely over 500. Not terrible, not good, just a little bit above average. There were some flashes there with Spencer Rattler as quarterback, but there were some absolute lows as well. They're moving on. It'll be moving on to a different quarterback this year in Lenore Sellers, a different system. This schedule, though, it just doesn't do us any favors. And I've talked on my live streams before about if he had had a decent year last year, maybe he'd have followed the 8-5 record from 2022 up with maybe a 7-5 last year, or an 8-4 and a bowl game, or for God forbid even a 6-6. And a win in a bowl game, which you could still say is a winning season afterwards, that he might get a little bit of a mulligan in 2024 with the schedule that we have. Has he used his mulligan up, though? Because you had a losing record last year. Yes, I know you had a lot of injuries. I know you had some young players in key positions. It's time for these old, tired, worn out excuses to just not be valid anymore. Other teams find ways to create depth. They find ways to create new stars, and they find ways around that. First of all, the millions and millions of injuries that we had is not a freak thing. That's on you. You should have already gotten rid of that strength and conditioning coach probably before last season, because this has been a problem for a while. We've had a lot of injury issues, and in 2021, I'll say the injury situation that year, I was like, man, this is great. The injury situation here is just a lot better than it was under Will Muschamp. Well, it took a turn in 2022. Just right back to that same kind of negative injury culture that we've had before. And last year, it was just absolutely off the rails. I mean, why that guy was retained, but we decided to go on ahead and fire the running back coach, who, I mean, his running backs really couldn't do dick if he didn't got no offensive line to block for them. Well, they're all sitting here hurt. Well, I mean, whose responsibility is that? So I think, number one, I think you're firing the wrong people. I think that you're trying to hold people accountable, but I think you're holding the people accountable that it's easy to hold accountable. Maybe there's some strong personalities there in that coaching circle that you just don't want to ruffle the feathers of, so you just tend to shy away from them instead of actually going for the meat of the potato. Dowell Loggins, his offensive coordinator, is he any good? I don't know. We really don't know. I mean, we saw some really good-looking play calls last year, but a lot of those play calls, we don't really know what they would have been because it never materialized. Because you're sitting here with your quarterbacks getting sacked, he's having to make changes on the fly. It was just a bad situation. You hadn't blocked anybody in years. Y'all have not blocked anybody in years. Let's just go on ahead and say it. Now, I'm done bitching about that. Let me look at this 2024 schedule with you. And tell me what you think here, because this does not look very inviting to me. And I usually say in my videos, you've heard me say it for the past 3, 4, hell, I was saying it back when Will Muschamp was coach. I'm going into this season, guys, with guarded optimism. I'm going into this season with legitimate pessimism. Will be the new term. Legitimate pessimism. I'm pessimistic that we're not going to be worth a damn. And here's why. Let's just look at the schedule and the way this unfolds. August 31st, you've got Old Dominion at home. That'll be a win, albeit it's a non-Power 5 team that has improved. They've beaten Virginia Tech a couple of times. They've given some other ACC teams a little bit of a tough game. I don't think that we're going to blow them out. I think we'll win. I think this will probably be similar to that Georgia State opener in 2022. Next week, you're on the road at Kentucky. You're going to be an underdog in that game. Brock Vandergrift will be taking over as quarterback at Kentucky. I mean, is it safe to say that they're going to have this game circled on their calendar? I mean, they've lost to South Carolina 2 years in a row now. Last year, we kind of in come from behind fashion. We took care of business against them, and then the year before, they think they shouldn't have lost that game because their quarterback was hurt, so it really shouldn't count. They're going to be gunning for us in that game, and I believe you'll be an underdog in it. And right now, with what I know we have and what I know they have coming back, I don't think you're going to win it. Then you're at home against LSU the next week, another team that'll beat you up physically. Their defense was terrible last year, but, I mean, was it any worse than ours? They've got a new defensive coordinator in there. They got some new pieces on the defensive side of the football, and they got something that we don't have. They have the athletes, and they have the depth. This is one that I could see getting out of hand. I give us less than a 15% chance of winning it. Offensively, they lost some pieces there. They lost Heisman Trophy winning quarterback there, and they lost 2 really, really legit wide receivers. But they've got the athletes. They've got talent. They've done okay in the transfer portal. They'll be okay. I say 85% chance we lose that game at home. The next week, you're at home against Akron. That's a non-starter. We'll win that game, but it comes before your first bye week of the season. Here's a hot take early. That game will be much closer than it needs to be. You're off. You got Ole Miss at home the next week. They're everyone's pick to be the dark horse for the SEC champion this year, and with good reason. Lane Kiffin has an ultra-modern offense that he's built, a fun offense that people like to play in. He's brought some really, really good players in out of the transfer portal. He's brought Juice Wells in from South Carolina. Now, I'll just go on ahead off the record. Well, it's not off the record. It's here on my channel and say, I hope that shitbag don't catch a pass this year. I hope he doesn't play a down, and I hope that he's the biggest bust that he's ever brought into Oxford. But it's probably likely that he won't be. Why do I say those things? It's because he lied to Shane Beamer. He lied about being injured. He lied to the fans. He lied to the coaching staff. He probably lied to his teammates as well. Guy doesn't deserve success, in my opinion. You can make of that comment what you want. But we'll still lose to him, and he'll probably play and probably have a good game. That's a tough stretch. It starts off October, and then you've got back-to-back road games, back-to-back at Alabama and at Oklahoma, and everybody talks about, oh, how tough that is. Well, Alabama's not going to be what they've been in years past, but they're still going to be really good. You have less than a 5% chance of winning that game. You're on the road at Oklahoma. I give you maybe a 25% chance of winning that game. And I give that high of a chance because I'm just not impressed with anything Oklahoma's done, really, since Brent Venables has been there, and obviously wasn't impressed with them defensively the entire time Lincoln Riley was there. It's a road game, though, against an opponent that can put some points up on the board. They have a freshman starting quarterback. We have a freshman starting quarterback. I honestly don't see us winning that game. Just another one with the talent and the depth enough to be able to take care of business there. But here's, you stand a better chance, I think, of winning the game on the road at Oklahoma than you do of beating Ole Miss at home. You're off. You got Texas A&M at home. Another team that this is not a 50-50 game. It should be, but it's not. They've done really, really well in the transfer portal as well, bringing in a new head coach, defensive mindset. I think they're going to be better. Do I think they're going to be significantly better than the Jimbo Fisher teams? No, but I think they'll be better, and they'll be better than us. You're on the road at Vanderbilt, and this might be your legitimate only chance at an SEC win this season. Then you're at home against Mizzou. Look, I want to beat them worse than just about any team on the schedule. I like Mizzou, and I'll pull for them when they're not playing South Carolina. They're just one of those teams that you kind of gravitate towards and hope they do well. But I think everybody's getting a little bit sick of the Eli Drinkowitz look at me routine. And Vegas obviously thinks that they're not going to be what they were last year. Everybody's predicting them to win 10, 11 games. Vegas doesn't think so. Vegas has got the, I think their over-under win total is 9.5, and it's heavily juiced to the under. So they, for some reason, think that they're not going to be as good as they were in 2023. And if you look at their schedule, there's no reason why they shouldn't be. But they've lost some pieces defensively. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost Cody Schrader, who was kind of the heart and soul of the team. However, offensively, that's really all they've lost skill-wise. So you would think they'd be okay on that side of the ball. I think Vegas is maybe just, thinking everybody's seen them one time around and that thing's going to wear out this year. Who knows? But I would love to beat them. Honestly, I just don't think we have the horses to do it. And that's sad to say. The depth thing has been an issue for years. Lack of depth, lack of quality depth. Why? What is the damn problem that you can't build a little bit of quality depth? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. And then you're at home against Wofford, which should be a win. And then there's a road game at Clemson. you'll be an underdog there, probably a significant underdog by the time that game comes around. Look, I absolutely loathe them, but they kind of have a little bit of upwards momentum, right? They won the bowl game. Everybody's seen shit on Twitter over there about how Matt Luke is energizing the offense over there, which, I mean, more power to him. I mean, he was a fired head coach from Ole Miss. He was unsuccessful there. Yeah, but he's the offensive line coach at Clemson now, and maybe he's doing some good things there. Maybe he's bringing kind of like that Sean Elliott type persona to Clemson. I mean, they have more talent than we do on both sides of the ball, and it's frustrating to keep on repeating that same old broken record deal every year, but it's true again this year. I don't think they're very good at quarterback. I think Cade Klubnik is just an average-ass player. But who knows? Maybe he'll become a little bit better with a little bit better protection, and we'll have to see. Second year on Garrett Riley's system, I expect him to be better. They'll be one of the top 2 teams in the ACC, and you'll be an underdog there. So, I mean, just looking at this schedule right now, with the mindset that I'm in and the attitude I have, I think you're probably going to go like 4-8. I just don't see you being there are a ton of games on here that in a normal year they should be 50-50 games. But there are just so many question marks around this team that I don't know if I can call them 50-50 games. And this is not my official prediction. I just wanted to kind of get on here and talk a little bit about Shane Beamer and some Gamecock football and what's coming down the pipe. But I got to say, for the first time in a while, in a long time, I'm not looking as forward to this season as I have looked to other ones. Now, maybe that's a good thing, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised, and maybe some of these guys will develop into stars that we didn't think. Maybe Rocket Sanders will look like 2022's Rocket Sanders. Maybe this offensive line will have taken huge strides in the offseason. One or two of these really, really highly touted freshmen will come in and make an immediate impact. But from just looking at past history, that's kind of an oxymoron there, isn't it? Past history. Looking at the past and knowing that it's going to repeat itself, I just don't see that happening. I think Shane Beamer is squarely on the hot seat, but is he really? I think that he'll be given a pass even if they have another bad season this year, which is absolutely silly to me that would be the standard that you have for your football program. That 2 losing seasons in a row is not course for immediate and swift action. You can't go around firing the coach every 3 or 4 years. You saw Tennessee do that back. They've been doing that for the past, 10, 15 years. Now they finally got someone that looks like he's got them on some solid ground. But you can't do that, especially when the supply of money is just not unlimited to continue to keep doing that. So it's shaping up to be a tough season. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. Just don't think that we've got the guy in charge who's going to be able to take us to that next level. This is going to be a rough one, guys. So just go on ahead and buckle your seatbelts and get prepared because there might be a lot of disappointing Saturdays in 2024 for Gamecock Nation. Anyway, if you agree with me, hit me down in the comment section below. If you disagree with me, hit me down in the comment section below. Let's debate. And even if you're not a Gamecock fan, which, of course, we value all opinions here, let me know what you think about the 2024 schedule, Shane Beamer's future, what you think of the South Carolina Gamecocks, what color the sky is going to be tomorrow. You can talk about anything that you want to. I'll see you guys later on. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. By the way, if you want to support the channel, there'll be a link down in the description box below where you can do that as well. Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App is a wonderful way to support the Carolina Jackpot channel and help me continue pumping out great content. I'll see you guys later. Appreciate it. Peace. I'm out of here. Still, go Gamecocks. Spurs up to my toes up. Woo!